Hey.
Today, we're going to be making a BigXthaPlug sample type beat. What makes this style interesting, that it's a mix of old school samples, usually something we're familiar with those new school, hard hitting Southern drums. The challenge is having the sample be on tempo while allowing the drums to do its thing and carry the rhythm. At the same time, we still have to make sure we have enough space for the vocalist. And if you're familiar with BigXthaPlug's voice, it is very big and it needs a lot of space to carry the song. Make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video because you're sure to pick up some gems that you can apply to your own production process. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is start with the sample. So as of right now, I have a sample by Eddie Kendricks. It's called Boogie Down. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this song so that way you can get a feel for how it sounds in its original state. Then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and chop the sample and create the groove for the actual beat. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the actual song itself. All right, so that's enough. That gives you an idea on how the original song sounds like. So now I'm gonna go through this actual song and just find some different sample points that I can use to actually create a melody for this type of beat. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I just went ahead and chopped the sample. I found some usable pieces, some in the intro part, in the early part of the song, some right here in the middle. And let me just go ahead and play on my keyboard the different chops I have here and how I'm gonna piece it together for the actual beat. All right, so you guys have an idea on the different chops that I'm gonna use here for the actual beat. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay down the chops and then we're gonna get to adding the drums. I'm gonna go ahead and record the chop sample right now. All right, so I have the sample recorded right here in FL Studio and I'm just gonna go ahead and play it here for you really quickly. All right, so that gives you an idea of the full sample chop. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. What I'm gonna do now is I actually like to bounce down my samples as audio files because in FL Studio, it allows you to change the tempo really easily. So once I add the drums, I don't wanna be stuck right here at this exact tempo because I might want some bounce to it. So in FL Studio, if you go to patterns, there's an option that says quick render to audio file, and then that's how you bounce down the sample into an actual audio file. So I'm gonna do that now, and then after that, we're gonna do a little bit of EQing to make some space for the drums, and of course, the vocalist. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we now have the sample bounced down as a WAV file. Now I'm gonna do some EQing, and the EQing that I'm gonna be doing is going to be to make space for the kick, and of course, Big X likes to have those big, low, subby 808s, and also want to make some space for the voice because, of course, we need a lot of space for a big voice like BigXthaPlug. So we're going to do here now in FL Studio, we're going to go to, of course, open up the trusty parametric EQ, and of course, in any DAW that you use, you're going to have a EQ as trustworthy and as capable as the parametric 2 EQ. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the sample, and in my head, I'm going to be imagining where I want the kick, where I want the snare, how I want the voice to sound. So I might even start mumbling a little bit out loud because I want to make sure that I'm really painting the picture and really creating the scene for this type of beat. Now, one mistake that I see a lot of producers make when it comes to making these type of beats is leaving a little too much high end in the sample, not tucking it away because the actual vocal of the rapper is going to take up a lot of sonic space. So we don't want to take off too much top end, but guys, dial back some of that high end a little bit so the actual vocalist will have some space. Remember, the beat is just one part in the final product of the actual song. We're creating the soundscape for the actual story of the songwriter. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to do some EQing and then I'm going to pop back in. All right, so I feel like that's a good enough starting point to actually EQ that sample. I don't want to do too much, but also don't want to do too little. And as you notice, I actually turned off the graphics showing the line of all the frequencies that are going on because I want to be mixing with my ears, not necessarily my eyes. So I went ahead and turned that off, so that way I'm just totally trusting my ears, totally trusting my vision, and I'm just simulating in my mind a voice, drums, everything like that. So that's acting as the guiding light for me. So I did a little bit of rapping out loud, but I'm mostly using my imagination. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and start adding in the drums. We have enough space for that. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to actually start with the hi-hats. That's actually one of the main things that I actually see driving these type of Southern sample, BigXthaPlug type beats, is the hi-hats is really giving us that nod factor, really getting us into the groove of things. So I'm going to go ahead and start programming some hi-hats, and let's make sure we have a nice groove. And of course, now that I have the sample as an audio file instead of chops inside a Serato sample, I can change and play with the tempo if I need to. I think I may need to, so I'm glad I did that already, but let's go ahead and try that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I went ahead and actually pushed the tempo up by 24 beats per minute. So that's actually quite faster than what we originally had it. And I did that while I was programming the hi-hats because I wanted to get that real nod factor that we like to have in those BigXthaPlug sample type of beats. So let me go ahead and play what I have now. So let's play the sample, and then I went ahead and I added the hi-hats and then also some of the drums so we can really get that groove all together. So I'm gonna play the sample, then the drums. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it. Let's go ahead and get into the, of course, anticipated bass. So I'm going to experiment with 808 bass, sub bass. I'm going to see which one really makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and give it a try, and let's take a listen. All right, so now we have the 808s programmed and plugged right into this beat. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it all together. Hey. Hey. All right, guys, there's no way you could tell me that you cannot hear BigXthaPlug on this beat. I'm telling you, hey, Big X, hit your boy up. My email, you can check it out right here on YouTube. But seriously, guys, the main thing I want you guys to take away from this video is that I started out with the sample going in one direction. It was really slow, it was really deep, kind of a lower pitch. And then as I started to add the hi-hats and the drums, I decided to go ahead and pitch up the sample and push the tempo forward. As I did that, I was able to get that nice bounce, that nice groove, the nice hard-hitting drums that you typically hear in those BigXthaPlug type beats. So guys, walk away with that lesson. A lot of people say, you know, samples are limited. They are to a certain degree if you don't quite know how to stretch them and flip them and really getting them the way that you want them to be. And I was able to accomplish that here. So guys, if you need help with your beat, with your production process, make sure to hit me up. You can find my link to book a Zoom one-on-one coaching call, and I'll be glad to help you out with your production process. You know, guys, let me know in the comments, you know, what other type of beat do you want me to make for you here on my YouTube channel? I'll be glad to take suggestions, and also just give me your feedback. I need to know if you guys want more of these type of beats. Thank you for checking out this video. My name is Desmond A. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more great videos. Peace. Wait, before you go, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com where you can get free FL Studio Patcher plugins, free loops, free guides, everything you need to level up your music production. Once again, go to DesmondASounds.com or click the link in the description. Go there now and totally transform your music production.